I'm waiting to hear what the claim is. What's the relevance of a picture taken from a slightly different position on a different day, different conditions?
That's not the issue.
I'm not sure what the claim is.
Tell us the difference between them, but I don't know.
It's not the difference between the pictures. It's the height of the mountain relative to the tower. Is that not clicked?
It's about the same, isn't it? Look, it's just it's relatively the angle's different.
No,
It's the same if you look at the roller coaster.
Okay.
You can see there's a different perspective, a different angle of view, isn't there? Look, if you look at the roller coaster with respect to
Adam,
the other mountains,
you're going the wrong way down a dead end road.
The only question I'd ask is, what are those mountains in the background of Blackpool?
What do those cranes in the foreground look like?
Can we explain to Adam first the actual problem with this?
Yeah, I mean,
he's looking at this all wrong, and
anyway, what are those mountains? What are those? Could you name those peaks behind Blackpool?
They've got a height. Okay, there's elevation.
I know they've got a height.
I
they've got a height. I'd say, could you name them?
Blackpool Tower. That's got a height.
And see Blackpool Tower.
Has a height. One. And there's distances involved.
Yeah, and see
you need to be able. Adam.
Could you?
I was trying to be polite to you.
God damn.
Guess what's not going to happen anymore, Adam?
I'm asking for the
Adam
peaks. What's the names of those peaks in the background of Blackpool?
They're called Eat Shit and Die.
Yeah, I thought they were.
They are named in the video, Adam, if you want to go and have a look at it.
Yeah.
I haven't memorized those names, but you could just go.
I remember them from the last time I was at Blackpool.
Do you understand the point that Curb was trying to make? Could you let him talk?
They're the mountains of the Lake District.
Right.
I'm yet to hear the claim from the photo.
What was he trying to talk? What was he trying to say about those?
I'll make the claim. Hang on, I'll make it clear. The mountains are higher than Blackpool Tower. In the photo, they appear to be lower than Blackpool Tower.
Are they nearer or farther away than Blackpool?
They're further away. They're further away. However, even when you take account of perspective, they are still not where they should be if the Earth was flat.
And the differential between the two pictures, is this the point of significance?
Nothing to do with two pictures. Nothing to do with two pictures. Just look.
So we've got a picture with no data that you'd like me to comment on.
Well, no, you have two pictures.
As I said, the very, very first thing I said.
Other than they're bigger than they should be.
Listen, you're not listening. This is why you're uninformed, because you're not listening. The very first thing I said to you. Listen, you're not listening again, Adam.
No, I'm sighing and taking a sip of wine.
Okay, well, listen, okay? The very first thing I said to you was the names of and the heights of the mountains are in the video. So it's not a case of no data. Why are you trying to pretend it is no data? Why did you pretend that was true?
When you
already knew that wasn't true. You just said, oh, so it's a photo with no data then that I'm expected to analyze.
Yeah.
When you knew that there was data.
If you're saying
there was. I told you that there was data. The very first thing I said to you was,
if you're saying there's a video I need to watch, then it would make sense that I'd probably watch that video before you asked for my comment.
Yeah, it would do. Could do that.
It seems sensible. As I was asking for the data, but if the data's not forthcoming and I have to watch the video, then I'll watch the video.
Well, you might want to watch the video if you're going to talk about it.
Why do you feel you're entitled to have it delivered to you?
I wasn't. My actual inquiry was to Chemo. What's going off? And that's been matching my point from point one. I wasn't informed on this. I was asking for at least a catch up because I didn't have a clue. Right, that's why I was asking what I could see and what I was presented with, and the only data I had was a picture of Blackpool from two different.
Well, yeah, positions. I was wondering what Chemo had as proof as well, but there was nothing there. There was a picture from Blackpool, and that was it. Like, it was weird.
And then I'm berated for not being able to just decipher that global ball. It's very odd.
You were berated.
You had your breakfast. You're sounding a bit like QE. You had breakfast.
You were berated for being a bit of a bullshitter and saying the no data thing, and that's not true.
There's no data on it for me to give comment on.
Right.
Was my point, Jem, wasn't it?
And
I think that point stands. So maybe the beration was inappropriate.
Well, not really, because you said there's a photo with no data.
But you came in here already knowing that.
It's a photo with no data. It's a photo with data.
You came in here already knowing that.
Look for the data.
You're just trying to make it seem like
I was asked by Spurs what did I think of what Ranty had done.
And then you tried to use the fact that you couldn't be bothered to go and look for the data as a way of discrediting the
No, I've not heard what Ranty had done.
Adam, will you ever stop talking?
Where are those photos from, Adam? Off the
it looks like somewhere away from Blackpool.
Well, there you go. So you already knew
there a video then? No, I didn't. Genuinely, I've had me tea. I've had a nice barbecue. Sat down, looked at your thing. He came in, saw that. Spurs brought me into a conversation. My opinion was asked, and that's where it's led from there. But is there a video? And I'll happily look at it. It sounds quite interesting. If there's claims associated with it, then I've got the video. I've got the picture. Is any chance anyone could just is this it? Gravitation Nation by Conspiracy Cats.
That could be it. Yeah,
I'll have a look at it. I'll have a look at it, gents. And thank you. Sounds intriguing. I assume there's an attached ball claim to this, hence the exuberance. Would you be kind enough to summarise before I piss off and watch the video?
Adam. The mountains,
or is it all in there?
That the mountains in the background are higher and appear lower. That's the point. And on a flat Earth, that would not be the case. He shows you what it would. He does a little model of it on a flat Earth.
Sorry, and I'm not being an arse now. Higher or lower than they should be geometrically on a ball, or higher or lower as a differential in the two pictures?
Not in fucking reality.
It's not to do with the two pictures. Forget that.
Okay, thank you. All that. Hence my confusion. Look, that's all I've seen, dude. Is those two pictures put up? So I'm obviously.
I know, but I'm trying to make it clear. The reason why there's a second picture is it's just confirming that the first one is repeatable. That's
from a slightly different angle. Hence,
it might.
That's all I was able to obtain from that 5 minutes. So I'll watch it and I'll jump back at maybe another day.
It's a bit of a watch away. That one is.
Apologise for antagonising anybody. I generally was clueless there. So thank you.
You're triggering them, Adam. It's okay.
All right. Well, sorry if I was
not intentional.
Believe me, it happens easily here.
Yeah, not intentional. He accidentally just talks over everyone who's trying to explain something to him.
It's been a long day for me as well.
I could tell you were talking about things, guys, that I didn't actually understand the basics of what was going on. Hence why.
What Ranty's saying is, Adam, is that he's saying.
Sorry, I got Ranty then, Adam.
He's saying that they've located drop, saying that there's a horizon there, and then the mountains are dropping. He's saying to me, you can't see the bottom of the mountains. Same as
But Chemo, did you hear him on Ranty's last night?
But he's saying just now.
He came in and asked us all. He came in and asked us all, who believed in terrestrial refraction, and Mick West made that shit up because we were killing the globe, and there's all kinds of shit. Like, he was clearly on our side less than 12 hours ago.
How drunk was he?
Yesterday.
Well, a video's not going to be on anyone's side, so I look forward to seeing it, guys, and I will watch it.
I still think Randy's fucking with us. I mean, I don't know.
I don't. I really don't.
Jeremy, this argument.
You really don't, Jeremy?
This argument will be crushed will be crushed in seconds because he says there's drop. He thinks there's drop. And we've already explained. I've explained to him, did you establish the horizontal? And then we went through the horizontal. So it's something else, I suspect. It's nothing to do with this picture.
I saw I saw
There's
clips
no horizontal needed.
I saw clips of this. Hold on, Kurt. I saw clips of this video that Ranty was in, and it made it felt like he was trying to pin it on Bev, like it was Bev's fault.
Yeah, he kept saying that as well. Oh, Bev's got this picture now, and I'm like, and that's what I said to him. I said, look, so Soundly's, all of Soundly's data with GPS measurements, Walter Bisley, and the surveyors didn't convince you that the Earth's a ball, but some picture from Bev, and you're like, bang, yeah, okay, there's your drop. Does that make sense in anyone's mind?
No, that's why he's fucking with you.
It does in mine.
You're saying GPS surveying people versus one picture.
But it's not about the evidence. It was never, ever about the evidence, Chemo. Never has been. Not ever for you guys does it have anything to do with evidence. And you know that.
If you have
you know that that's true.
Soundly showed drop. Showed them.
It's to do with it making you feel good, and it doesn't make Iranti feel good anymore.
Did Soundly show obstruction? Did Soundly show obstruction with the hotel, that building?
You're not listening to me.
That was evidence, wasn't it? He went out there and repeated it. You said the other day he repeated it numerous times.
It's not about the evidence, Chemo, is it? You guys don't care about evidence.
I'm saying, for a person...
I mean, Jeremy's thing is a prime example. Look at how people behaved. Look at what Brian's logic said. When he couldn't think of any more excuses to explain it away, Jeremy's experiment that hasn't been done yet, when he couldn't think of any more excuses, he just said, oh, well, we know it's flat because airplanes don't dip their noses.
No, I'm not talking about that.
Something else.
I'm talking about...
It doesn't matter if this shows that it's not flat. I know it is. It has to be because Nathan Oakley told me and taught me some catchphrases about it.
No, that's not what I'm on about. I'm on about the obstruction. He's showing what you guys would show when you'd flash the image and say, look, it's below the horizon. Flashing the building.
It has nothing to do with what we can see in photos, nothing to do with evidence. It's to do with just, Ranty's decided to stop being unreasonable.
Yeah.
And silly.
Yeah, well, there's nothing here that he hasn't seen before, so that's not a reason to say the Earth.
That's absolutely true. Yeah, I mean, this is a repeat of that Miles Davis observation.
The only thing that could explain this is he was just tired of being a fake flat earther.
Oh, Joby. Jim, did you hear what
Kimo
was saying earlier? That Ranty's not himself.
I heard that. Yeah.
The fuck.
I don't buy that he's bullshitting at all.
I don't know.
I don't believe it's because of this picture. This is nothing. Ranty.
I don't think it is.
Ranty has explained this picture away numerous times before, so we're hearing him trying to.
So why did he switch his position to that? Why is he now going for the globe?
You would if anyone was going to come a globe out, it'd be from Soundless, not because of this picture. That would be nonsense. Soundly's got the GPS. He's supposed to be showing the same drop, buildings covered.
You would think, but fuck.
Well, I would have thought that all of those things would have convinced him before, but
right. So that's just not anyone who believes that's because of this picture is something seriously wrong. Soundly went to work 24 hours, days upon days, taking all the expert data that you need that comports with the globe, supposedly.
Yeah, he flipped the camera upside down. He did all that shit.
And that was dismissed. He threw that out. He debunked that. And then all of a sudden, a picture from one individual, which he said he doesn't even trust Bev anyway, and then accepts the... Come on.
The top one isn't from Bev, is it?
But he's saying it's because of Bev, which he says he doesn't trust Bev.
Who's Bev?
Well, he can trust him on. He can trust him on this because he can go and see it himself.
But he can't trust Soundly.
He doesn't really have to trust him on the thing he's trusting Bev for, does he?
But what about Soundy and every Miles?
All he has to do is
what about Miles Davis? Could have done Miles Davis's ages ago and been a globe.
I agree. Like I keep saying, like I've said at least 4 times, this has nothing to do with the evidence. Never has had.
He's debunked Miles Davis. That's my point.
Yes, he looked at his evidence. This has nothing to do with evidence. It has to do with being unreasonable and ridiculous. Ranty decided to stop being unreasonable and ridiculous.
No, because he's being more ridiculous. Because I said to him, you're going to have to explain.
He's not. How do you explain what you see in this photograph? If Ranty's being ridiculous.
Ranty gave me the explanation for this, and with an experiment many times.
What's your flat Earth explanation for what you're seeing?
We know why we can't see the bottom of things. It's not physical, is it?
It's not to do with not seeing the bottom, is it? It's to do with the top of the mountain being lower than the top of Blackpool Tower.
Yeah, that can be replicated with atmospheric lensing.
Okay, so you're just making up the atmospheric lensing thing, are you?
No.
So you just think that
Ranty knows that the atmosphere acts like a lens, which is what I said to him. He's done an experiment on that.
Well, maybe there you go. You see, that's where he's being reasonable now, isn't he? You made up a load of complete bullshit that you have absolutely no reason to say is true, and Ranty rejected it for that reason.
No, he didn't reject it.
Normally he would accept the complete bullshit that's made up on the spot for no reason whatsoever.
That's true.
And join in and use that as an excuse.
Well, again, there's nothing even here to argue about. If you think he's dismissed Soundlid's professional work and then believes one person with a picture, well then what more can we say? Believe it. That's up to you.
No, I didn't. Again, I haven't said that. I keep repeating. It's not to do with what's in the picture. But you just don't want to hear that. Doesn't matter. This is now the 5th time I've said it. And your response will be the 6th time you've ignored it.
Because that's not what Ranty said. Ranty said it's because of this picture. There's drop. That's what he said. That's his words. He's going to do a presentation showing the drop. Not because he saw sense. He said, this is the picture. He said he's never seen a picture.
He's not going to say that, is he? He's not going to say I was being an unreasonable twat for 4 years, and now I've decided to stop being an unreasonable twat.
Yeah, people say that. I was being unreasonable. And now, because
Who
Jose and Sean don't, and Sheeple don't have... Jose and Sean and Sheeple don't have this. They don't have to them, oh, this is something that makes me go back to the globe. They have nothing. Ranty's saying, look, we've got the actual drop that makes it a globe.
Well, maybe he feels that he needs to come up with something.
Well, can't wait till it comes out. It's going to be debunked.
I think
just
he's
like
already got there. I think, his behaviour in recent weeks shows that he was already well on the way there anyway.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, he's just going to create more problems in terms of questions. He's got to explain gravity. He's got to explain space. All these things are not... It's just a joke. He knows all the arguments. I said this to him. How are you going to be able to explain it? He said, oh, I'm not good. I'm going to make my last video and then I'm going to leave. So that's the whole point. Is something else has happened. Yeah.
He's going to do what?
He found a...
He's going to do what, Kimo? You said, how are you going to explain all this shit? And he said, what?
He's going to do a presentation and explain it.
And then what?
And that will explain how it's a globe.
Didn't you say and then leave?
He did.
Like, leave fucking YouTube or leave Flat Earth? Leave what? Leave what?
Look, the point is that this
what's he leaving, Kimo?
This evidence is ridiculous, and it's not the reason.
Fuck your evidence. What does Ranty say he's going to leave?
I mean, where's he going to leave?
You said
he's going to leave.
You said, how are you going to explain fucking space and all that shit? And he said, I'm going to do a presentation and then he's going to leave.
No. I'm saying that he's just going to do a presentation.
So the and leave thing was what?
What?
You said it.
I probably misspoke.
You misspoke, so he never said anything about leaving. So if he leaves, it'll be purely coincidental.
I don't know.
Fucking hell. The jury rests its case.
Christopher, you're the biggest coincidence believer here.
Point is, the whole thing is
I
nonsensical.
believe in coincidences. Yeah.
It's
I'll
all
go for it.
nonsensical, and it'll be easily explained away whenever he comes up with. Because we know there's no drop from the horizontal. So,
but you don't know.
Ranty apparently believes it.
Yeah,
right?
You don't actually know that. You're just saying that you know that, but you don't actually know it.
Through he wants to
You've never done anything that would get you to the point where you could say that you know that.
Yeah, well, I mean, measurements.
I don't think you could.
Measurements are not done on a computer. You've got to be able to do them in reality.
Fucking weak ash.
This is a photo of reality, Chemo.
But that's not a measurement because it's distorted. You've got the atmosphere giving you a false impression of where things are.
And say goodbye to
no
Black
evidence
Swan,
that that's happening, though, is there? There's
How
no evidence.
Yeah, you can't.
Say goodbye to Black Swan, Chemo.
Very clear picture.
So you're going to have to prove that by showing a real measurement and showing the picture as a gold standard that it can be done.
I can feel the sorrow in your voice, Chemo.
No, again, it's going to be exciting to see what he's going to come out with because, again, there's nothing that he hasn't answered before.
All right, like I say.
You guys project. If the Earth was proven round, all the globe or all the flat Earthers would rejoice.
Proven round.
It's the silliest of arguments.
Almost everyone on it believes it's round.
Okay.
How could you argue that it's not proven round?
Just because a lot of people believe it doesn't make it so.
I think it means it's proven.
Just because of the populace?
Yes.
No.
How else could you judge if it was proven? What would make it proven?
Direct measurement, at least.
Oh,
Ranty would have a direct measurement, yeah.
We got that also then, so that's not a problem.
No, that's the theory.
So it's still proven.
No, that's the idea. That's part of the deception that they have measurements, but no one's actually done it.
Yeah, except, of course, they have, and there's plenty of records of.
And Ranty will have to go out there and make an actual measurement to show that the Earth is curving. Not just looking at a computer and saying, look, I can make measurements on the computer screen. So I did say to him, there's going to be more questions.
So really, for that to be, for what you're saying to have any validity at all, then the height of Blackpool Tower and the height of those hills behind have to be some unknown mystery that is, uncharted so far, right? That's what you're saying. You can't actually know those things just by going with, reputable sources that tell us the height of the Blackpool Tower. He's got to actually go and physically measure it himself.
For such a wild claim to change everyone's perspective on where they live, he's got to go and measure it. There's no way one man's picture is going to change reality, right?
Of course not. Of course it isn't.
Of course not, that's right. I said to you, like I said to you, he's got a lot more work to do. He's got a lot more things to get.
You see, you're doing that entitled thing again. This is a thing that really winds me up when flat earthers do this. You've decided that he's got work to do. Why? For what?
He's making the claim.
For what
purpose? For what purpose?
That's the point. We don't know what the reason is.
He can just say, this is what I claim to be true. Here's my photo. There you go.
Yeah, okay, fine.
Why is he then obliged to do work which you assigned to him?
That's not a problem. If it's a
weird idea come from that you guys get to do that.
Fine. If it's a religious idea and there's no argument with faith, that's fine. Keep your religious faith. That's fine. If that's what that's what I said to you. If that's your opinion, that's what you believe, that's fine.
That's not believing something to be true because of evidence is not a religious faith.
That's not evidence.
What the fuck are you talking about?
Not evidence. He just looked at something.
A photograph is not evidence.
No, he looked at something and gave his opinion.
You're ridiculous. You see, that's the problem. But that's the problem. You see, that's the thing that Ranty stopped doing. Because anyone on Earth, if they had a photo of something, anyone on Earth would say, yes, that can be evidence. That usually is evidence of something. But you go, oh, no, it's not evidence. And that's the thing that Ranty stopped doing. He stopped saying idiotic, ridiculous, unreasonable things like that are obviously only being adhered to in order to reject evidence. And just pretend that the evidence isn't there. So you
doesn't change the facts,
deluding yourselves that things that are true aren't true because you've ignored the evidence that tells you that they're not true. And just found excuses to ignore it. And Ranty stopped finding excuses to ignore the evidence.
None of that matters. None of that matters. Like I said, people can rant and rave. They can skip.
You're trying to understand what's going on. That is what's going on, dude.
Well, it doesn't matter. All we can do is speak to him, and if, like I said, if it's his opinion, well, that's fine. You've got your opinion. You know, good luck. But the point is, it doesn't change the actual fact that if you're in this realm, in this game of trying to show, is the Earth a globe? So, for example, if you're around, you're going to be challenged. Now, if Ranty doesn't want to be challenged, well, then good luck. That's your opinion. That's your religion.
You've got the work to do, Chemo. You've got to establish that the complete and utter made-up, complete utter bollocks of atmospheric lensing has any truth and validity to it whatsoever. A smidgen, a slither of truth. That's what you've got to do, because that's your excuse. Well, that's all you've come up with. Without that, the Earth's a globe, even for you. So you've got the work to do. And all you've got is a completely just make-believe thing that some idiot made up one day and the rest of you just repeated. Atmospheric lensing. Rob Skiba.
Right.
Rob Skiba nonsense. And you had the audacity to talk about us having a religion when you're just repeating the words of some religious nutcase. A religious extremist.
No. What we've got is a practical demonstration. We're sticking to the whether you like it or not. You don't like it, but we're sticking to the scientific method now because
you're not.
because of people like you, Ranty, and anyone else who wants to come up with any
people
other
who believe the contents of a photograph. What lunatic?
Yeah, because you've got all kinds of methods. All of you guys.
Yeah, photography.
Yeah, so whatever method you're using to determine
weird, creepy, unreasonable thing.
Right, Fundy muting me. I can't even speak. I can't even get my point out. I'm trying to say
photography is not verifiable.
What we're saying is that now I've got my point.
Why is it not verifiable?
Oh, I guess you could go into space and take a picture of the globe, huh?
Is this a picture of fucking space, knobhead?
Well, I asked.
Or is this a picture of fucking Blackpool Tower that anybody could go and take a photo of?
Where's the photo?
Oh my god!
I'm not finding it for another one. You find it yourself, you lazy.
You should already had it saved.
Right, go to Google, click on the YouTube link, type in the word conspiracy cats. It's his last video.
I don't want to get on a government watch list.
I'll post it for you.
On one now.
It's this picture here. So
you people are lunatics.
No, I mean, again, everyone's spy. I mean, I have to sorry to say, but Ranty was even he got off the phone quickly because like I was pressuring and saying, and he just wants you guys just want a narrative. You're not willing to discuss what the court. If you have a path, which is called like you have a path of it's a globe, and I'm sticking to that. There's nothing else anyone can do.
We have discussed it with you, Kimo,
and that's what's happening here with Ranty now.
You guys keep doing this. Oh, they just believe it, and there's nothing we can do now. Like, it was never anything to do with the evidence. They just believe it.
There is
like we should believe this utter fucking nonsense. People who are who are confused by a fucking reflection. But it's us that can't accept stuff. Yeah, I don't accept that fucking there's a second sun. No, I don't accept that. I think that's complete and utter bullshit.
Yeah, we all know that's bullshit.
I said, look, in order to, you'd have to bring something groundbreaking.
Evidence with photography, I might add, Bon Jovi. Photography was all fine when we need a spirit, son.
No, that's a video. That's not photography.
Fuck's sake. Unbelievable.
For Ranty to bring something that the Globers have been bringing the whole time, is a kind of a slap in the face because
it wore off, Chemo. He wasn't around you lot hearing the bullshit, the same nonsense all the time, and it wore off.
It doesn't make sense. You would need a flat earther to bring something spectacular out of this world. Like, he's been up there, he's got the absolute measurements. All he's bringing is an image that we've seen time and time again.
And a reasonable approach to the evidence. He's stopped being unreasonable and ridiculous.
Right.
Like you're being.
Yeah.
Like you have to be. You see, he isn't making up a completely made up bullshit thing.
He is.
And then claiming he's all, like you are, and then claiming he's all about the science, like you've done.
Yeah,
you say you're all about the science and with the scientific method, and then you say atmospheric lensing, something which you have absolutely no science for whatsoever.
He's making
completely made up, just completely invented, fantastical nonsense. No reason to believe it's true whatsoever.
Yeah, but why does it make sense then?
It doesn't make sense. It's nonsense. There aren't lenses in the sky.
And there isn't curvature
pretending
on the
that
Earth.
there are, so you can also pretend that the Earth is flat is silly. There are no lenses in the sky.
That's the same argument.
And you need there to be lenses in the sky for the Earth to be flat.
Well, you need there to be curvature for there to be obstruction and drop. There is no curvature.
The best approach is just ignore Joby entirely, because he's a fucking annoying little
cunt.
Hold
on, Chris, I got a question. If there are no lenses in the sky, why is there a magnification?
Jesus, see, this fucking guy. Kimo, do you have this cunt on your side? What the fuck, man?
Yeah, they're being magnified through a medium.
Yeah, Joby, fucking great flat earth fucking debater.
I'm not debating. I'm just asking questions. That's your problem, Chris.
No, you're not. You're just fucking. You're just.
You can describe it. You can describe it that they're being magnified through a medium, but that doesn't mean there are lenses in the sky.
No, the lens is the medium. The lens is the medium.
Well, you would have to establish that.
It's not a
showing that something has been magnified does not establish that there is a lens in the sky.
Well, light bends in it, doesn't it?
All right, but showing that light is bending does not establish that there is a lens in the sky.
Well, how does it bend without a lens?
Lensing?
Because that's the silly name that you gave it.
You have a prism, the light goes through it, it bends. So the same thing in the atmosphere, the light bends through a lens.
Hold on. Where did the lens suddenly get thrown in there?
The atmosphere.
Why is something bending? Why does that require a lens?
Because if you put the light through a vacuum, it won't bend, will it?
What?
Remove the lens in, the light that you put through the medium in a vacuum won't bend.
Well, I have no idea if that's true because the lensing is completely made up bollocks that you have no evidence for. So
but if you remove it in a vacuum,
we have no idea what would happen in any situation where it was removed because it doesn't exist in the first place.
Yeah, but light doesn't bend in a vacuum, does it?
We wouldn't expect it to, no.
Right, so it needs.
What do you mean, right? What's that got to do with the price of cheese? Where did the vacuum suddenly come from? Why are we talking about vacuums?
Because the bending of light is the lens in. If you remove the lens.
Well, I don't think that is. I think that's true. I think that light can be bent, and it doesn't require a lens for it to be bent.
What does it require?
A lens is a wholly different thing.
How can the light bend without a lens?
The process of atmospheric refraction.
Atmosphere, yeah. So that's the atmosphere. Yeah, what is the atmosphere made of?
Not lenses.
Yeah, but the water, the gases, or the molecules is what gives the bending, right? That's how you get mirages and ships upside down.
No, that's not what gives the bending.
How do we get ships upside down then and stuff?
Hey, Kimo, consider this
the light's passing
through
through mediums of different densities.
Of mirages, deserts where there isn't any water.
What?
Where's one of the most famous examples of mirages in popular culture? In the middle of the desert, where there's no water in the air.
No water? What is it? What's in the air?
At least considerably less than...
Okay, so when that water is, what's in place of it then?
Rest of the air.
Yeah, what is the rest of the air?
You don't know?
No, that's what I'm asking you for. If it's not water, what is the rest of the air? If there's less water in the air, then what is there?
Do you know the composition of atmosphere?
Exactly.
Do you know the composition of atmosphere?
No, I'm asking Slacker a question. If there's less water and remove the water,
if you don't know it,
what is in the air?
For a moment. Do you really not know atmosphere is mostly nitrogen,
No.
then oxygen, then a little bit of carbon dioxide, and a little bit of other stuff?
No. Can you show that? Remove the water from all that and show what's left.
Well, not over the internet.
How are you going to do it then? How am I going to see it?
I don't know. You could go research it for yourself.
How do you know you're not making things up?
You guys love the elephant.
I know that. I can't really prove it to you over the internet. You could learn things for yourself.
Kimo, why are you playing games again?
We're not playing games. What we're doing is looking
Yes, you're playing games. You're just asking stupid things.
Look, just because Ranty accepts something so easily...
So you call... No. You call yourself a scientist or something like that,
rigorous.
day by day, but you don't know the composition of the atmosphere.
We're rigorous.
And what is the composition of the atmosphere? So it's stupid to ask something like that.
The atmosphere is
and
water.
you want to prove because the Earth is flat.
Look, if you take an extractor, you extract water from the atmosphere. What else do you extract? Show me. Exactly. You can't take an extractor and extract other things than water.
I don't know what you mean by extractor, but yeah, just
like
using
a dehumidifier.
That's only going to get water.
Dehumidifier.
Yeah, that's designed to get
right,
water.
show me something that's designed to take out other stuff out of the air. You can't.
Well, fire takes oxygen out of the air.
That's true. And an air liquefier will separate all the other things.
And you can collect it, yes? You can collect it in a jar, yes?
Yeah.
What, oxygen? No.
No, what can you collect and show that you've taken something out of the air? Take it out of the air, extract it out of the air. Let's see what's in the air by extracting the air. Let's have a look.
You didn't listen.
Oh my god. My neurons is gonna die in this night. Kimo, you're impossible, believe me.
Well, we're looking for demonstrations. Remember, you're not talking to Ranty, who will accept any simple thing just because you say so. We need measurements, demonstrations, experiments.
So in this case,
he didn't accept it just because you say so, does he? He lives there. He's seen it himself. It's nicely recorded in a very clear photograph. That isn't just accepting it.
Yeah, no measurements means you just accept it.
Well, he has measurements. We know how high Blackpool Tower is. He's used that measurement himself many times, hasn't he?
He's going to have to show curvature 360 degrees.
And you never complained then, did you? You never said, oh, he needs to go and measure Blackpool Tower himself.
No. If he's making a wild claim like that, he's going to have to show measurements.
Oh, how is the height of Blackpool Tower is a wild claim?
No, he's going to have to show curvature. That
it's
drop.
a known fact, right?
No.
And you had no objection to him using that height.
We're too dangerous. We don't see what I mean. You just want people like Ranty just to accept things, right? We are the ultimate challenge.
No, I don't. I want them to be reasonable and not unreasonable. No. I want them to not pretend that photos are not evidence of something.
So I said to him, like I'm saying to you,
ridiculous. I want him to not pretend that there are lenses in the sky with no reason to believe that there are lenses in the sky.
Fine, I said to him, fine. If that's the drop, that should be the same drop everywhere. And what do we find? It's not the same drop everywhere. If that's the physical geometric horizon, then great, we can make real measurements. He can't do that. Based on, and I said to him as well, Blackpool is look how dirty Blackpool is. It's polluted, there's rubbish, there's all kinds of fairground rides, there's all kinds of activity. Of course you're going to have a kinds of distortion, the same as Soundly. Look, this is not something that you would say, yes, this is because a globe without any actual real measurements. Okay? And that's all he's done. He's looked at this picture, and I've got my own reasons, but I'm not going to say them. But, this is not right.
It shouldn't be the same drop everywhere, though. The drop is going to be different in some locations than other locations.
There should be a drop at least.
No,
so you said it should be the same everywhere. That's not exactly true.
That is true.
Yeah. No.
It'll depend on the elevation of where you're at.
No. Whoa. Cool your horses down. Physical drop. No. Physical measured drop should be the same everywhere. Now the horizon apparently the horizon can move, but if he's saying that's physical measured
drop will be dependent upon the elevation,
from that elevation, From that elevation, measured physical drop should be the same everywhere.
At that elevation, but everywhere isn't that elevation, of course.
Well, I'm just saying, whatever height is, we can work out, we can go lower, higher, and work out the physical drop, and it should be the same everywhere. That's the point.
Yeah, and it will be in that case. You were saying that it isn't everywhere, so therefore it can't be true, but it won't be the same everywhere because elevation will be different. So
that's why
even if you normalize the elevation, it will be the same, and I'm sure it is.
That's why when we said to Soundly, why didn't he show that curvature behind him, left, right? You know, why in just these positions? Because we knew he was taking advantage of the atmosphere. Same as with his Blackpool picture.
You know why he had to take that vantage point, because it had to do with the...
We've got the answer for everything. It's going to make it more interesting if that's what it's all about. Because he puts more pressure on you guys.
He did those observations from a number of different...
It just puts more pressure on you guys.
Probably a dozen different locations. Driving along in a car, from high up in a hotel, to diagonal, straight on. I mean, he did them all every which way but loose. So, you're not being honest.
This is going to put more pressure on the Globers. Because if he's saying...
Just ignore that.
The backlash... I remember I've told you this. I always give you the next week's news or next month's today. The backlash of this will put more pressure on Globers if he's saying this is a physical, geometrical drop.
You know, I'm pretty sure, given a week's time, he'll be back on the right side again.
Are you sure about that, Joey? He might be. Who knows?
So you acknowledge.
But you guys,
once you drop flat, you never go back.
He'll never go back, no, because like I said, he'll be under so much pressure to show that physical drop, and he won't be able to do that. He'll crack, just like you guys spiral and crack, and just make up nonsense.
Pressure. What pressure are you talking about? Again, you've drifted into this fantasy world where people are obliged to provide you with things. Why?
If it's his faith, then fine. That's his opinion. Not a problem.
Believing something to be true because of evidence is not faith. Why do we just keep going round in this circle, Kima?
This is not
because
evidence.
all he has is more rhetoric. So he's just trying every radical trick you know.
All right, Jeremy, you explain to them about this. I mean, they're not hearing what I'm saying. Obviously, they're looking for an argument. They're not seeing the implications of what's being said.
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Can I ask a question about the Lanty thing, though? I have a question about it.
Yeah, go ahead.
Well, I think it's far more interesting than the arguing that he's wrong or something. I'm far more interested in what is his take on the way and the things he's done for the past 2 years. How is he what is his emotional attitude towards this change like? We always wondered and talked about what will this do when they figure out they're wrong.
Right.
And now we have an example of it. What's it like?
Well, he said.
What do you think, Kimo?
Well, I've asked him. He doesn't believe in the moon landings. He doesn't want to get into space. So again, I can't understand why he's even doing this, because he doesn't believe in any of those things. He doesn't want to go to anywhere outside the globe. He wants to stick to that it's a globe.
Well, he spent a long time. He spent a long time gathering evidence and arguing for flat Earth against people who are showing him why the evidence is wrong, and then getting mad at people when we did so. Does he think back on that and think, I should have just listened, or what is his attitude towards that?
I mean, I just don't get it. You should have heard him in in Brandon's last night, Chemo. He was. I mean, this was less than 24 hours ago. He was ripping him. I don't know how he. Huh?
Was he drunk?
I don't think so.
So no one really knows what his attitude is about that stuff. It's just
this doesn't make sense. One picture would switching back to the globe.
And for the Globers to jump on this, it just shows the fickleness in the globe Earth. If they believe this after one picture, there's something seriously wrong.
Maybe he's trolling somewhere. Possible, yes.
None of yous would come to flat Earth over one picture.
People are saying that, but I don't buy that.
None of yous would go to flat Earth over one picture. None of yous.
You never know, you won't ever buy today.
Maybe this was the straw that broke the camel's back. He's been edging closer, and this was the final straw.
Right. And like I say, it's never been about evidence. This isn't about evidence.
Well, what was it about for him?
It's because he's no longer part of this YouTube bubble anymore.
Well, I'm not part of a bubble.
He's dealing with normal people.
What about me?
And he doesn't. He doesn't need to be part of this community, and so it's There's nothing in it for him anymore.
So that means he was never a flat earther.
No, he's a typical flat earther. He's in it for the emotional feedback, and he isn't getting the emotional feedback anymore. So now he's not in it.
That's not a typical flat earther.
That's the same for every person who's
No, it is.
When you're a flat earther, you're usually ostracized by everybody else.
Yeah, which is part. That's what you enjoy.
Except
That's part of it, isn't it?
Yep.
Why would you enjoy that?
Don't know.
You believe you're part of this victimized group that are rebel freedom fighters sticking it to the man with your special insight and access to secret information.
That's kind of like saying you're only gay because
No, it's not.
Gay people.
Nothing like that.
Yeah, it is.
Nothing like that.
How not?
Well, because you only choose in the case of being gay, and secondly, because
you don't choose to be a flat earther.
Hey,
all right. What are your
I
actual reasons for being gay, then, Joby? You tell us.
I'm not a gay guy. I love vagina, boobs.
How would you know?
Please.
I felt them.
Enough. This is the worst conversation ever. Joby,
was this in a game? Was that in a game though, Joby, where you felt them?
I have to be fair. She was a fat girl, so it didn't really count.
All right, enough.
Yeah, enough.
This is just very confusing, and I'm confused about this. I don't understand
Boobs are
what's
what
going
women
on
have.
because.
But seriously,
think it's
why do you think you're a flat earther, Bon Jovi? What's the real reason you're a flat earther? What emotional need is it filling for you?
It's not an emotional thing.
Yeah, it is.
Guys.
Even if he is a glober, he's still trolling the
But
globe.
you can't identify it, huh? Maybe you need to self-reflect a little bit, see if you can figure out what you're missing in your life.
Why are you?
This isn't psychoanalyze people time. We're trying to figure out what Randy's doing here.
Yeah, that's
not
psychoanalyze.
Jim just
Randy is facing the onslaught of evidence and realizing that he just can't deny it any longer.
I'm not.
And he's doing that because he's lost the social value of flat Earth. And whenever people lose the social value of flat Earth, you need a hug.
Well, if he was in it for the social value, that means he was never a flat earther.
Everyone's in it for the
social value. It doesn't really mean that. It doesn't really mean that.
No,
but it is one of the. Hold on, Joby, let me finish what I'm saying. It doesn't mean that, but it is one of the most. It is an important pillar of it because otherwise you wouldn't entertain something that's so obviously untrue.
Well, it's your opinion that you think it's untrue.
Not really. It's kind of a scientific fact, established science truths.
Well, if it was a scientific fact, there would be no flat earthers, and there isn't a science to begin with.
Yes, there would. Clearly, there would. People deny science, but that doesn't make science not science. Fact.
This is a what is question.
Yes, it is, and you guys are denying the established answer,
which is not scientific.
For no good reason. I mean, that part's indisputable. If you guys had scientific reasons or have good reasons for denying it, well, then we'd be having a whole different kind of conversation, wouldn't we?
Well, the word deny means that it's already established.
Yeah, it is established.
People
it is.
Believe it.
No, to say that just is either disingenuous or just shows you haven't even looked at what science says about the world.
That's not science.
Yeah.
Anything to do about the globe and astrophysics, that's not science.
It's not astrophysics. I'm not sure what astrophysics is. The ability to move your soul through the ether. Astrophysics is science, and so is anything to do with the globe. That's ludicrous to say otherwise. I mean, that's either you being disingenuous. This is why people assume that it's some sort of emotional need for you, because you're either lying right now when you pretend that astrophysics is a science, or you are so uninformed about science, you're so ignorant about science that you don't even know that astrophysics is science. And either way, it doesn't make for a very strong case.
Looking at things into a little microscope, or not microscope, a telescope is not science.
Of course it is, Joey.
Where's the cause and effect?
There's all kinds of cause and effect. Like, for example, when we found Uranus, I'll tell you the answer to that right now. When we found Uranus, and we saw that the orbit of Uranus was strange, we needed to know what the cause was. right?
So you look
and
at
astronomers,
and then you assume
astronomers figured out a possible cause, and then used techniques in astronomy to see if that possible cause was indeed true. Through observation, they were able to test it, and the test turned out to be valid. And they found the cause of the wobble in Uranus. So there you go. So there you go. No, they see it. They don't have to test. What do you mean? Observe it is all you're going to do anyway. You go there, you observe it. You observe it.
Observation is one. That's just
observation to test the hypothesis that gives them a cause and effect, Joby. That's exactly what science is.
That's not what they're doing.
Why would you argue with this cunt, man?
That's exactly what science
That's not
is.
what they're doing, though.
That is exactly what they did.
They just observed it and then they put an effect upon it, which they don't know what it is.
No, I just told you the whole story. You can read about it in real time.
They don't even know what these things are.
Joby, don't spin out. You can read about it happening in real time from the letters they wrote to each other. The astronomers at the time.
Oh, I could read their propaganda.
Yeah, but just relax, dude. They wrote letters to each other saying like, "Oh, here's this weird thing, and here's my ideas," and you can actually sort of see the whole story play out in time, you know, because their letters are dated and everything. And hold on, just relax, and then just relax for a second, just relax, and you can read as they come to the conclusion of what it must be. And it's interesting to see. You can see how a scientific mind works. It's a great like sort of case study in how science is really done in the real world.
This isn't science, though.
It is, Joby. Listen, just because you say it's not science,
bro.
It's just silly talk, though. It's not really interesting. You know, it's just silly talk.
You guys are too far.
And it's a little bit like here's what's disingenuous: is I'm telling you real stuff. I'm being real with you. I'm telling you about these letters. You can check out. They're cool. You know, whatever. You don't have to like it if you don't want. What you're responding with is just, you know, rhetorical nonsense. Like, and you know that you're doing that. So it's like, what's the point?
You're assuming that I know what I'm doing.
Come on, dude.
Well, saying it's mysticism isn't something another adult should take seriously, and you know it's not. You've even got a slight giggle in your voice when you say it. So that's the point. Yes, it's a totally ridiculous thing to say.
Yeah, that's why it's mysticism.
To say that believing something to be true that's supported by photographic evidence is mysticism. That's ridiculous.
So is Bigfoot real?
That
What?
is Bigfoot real. This is the adult conversation that he's engaging in.
Yeah, I mean, it's just silly.
Is Bigfoot real because there's a photo of him?
No.
That's not what he said, though, is it?
It isn't what I said.
He said because there's a photo of it.
Are things photographed mysticism? That's the point.
No, that's what I'm
Whatever Bigfoot
yes, that is what you said.
Exactly what you said, Joby.
Nah,
you standing on it. You said exactly that sentence. But believing or not believing,
misconstrued.
Believing or not believing in Bigfoot based on the photo or not the photo is none of that is mysticism. Whether Bigfoot's real or not a mystical question.
No. You guys are misunderstood when I said mysticism. I'm saying when they look.
Maybe you should use words the same way other people do.
Yeah.
You guys just have a fake dictionary you use. See, I use the Merriam-Webster.
This is what I mean, Joby. This is where you quickly diverge from having a real conversation. We have a fake dictionary we use. You just said, like, what's the point? Like, how? Why do you think anyone's going to?
He made a stupid comment. So why would I respond?
No, he didn't. You are misusing words.
Right.
Well, he said that while I was explaining on how I used it. So how would he say? Why would he say that before he knew?
Because you shouldn't need to. We all speak the same language, and we all understand the meaning of that word. You shouldn't need to explain
word has
a new meaning. You should have just used the correct word, and that's what he was pointing out.
You guys just don't understand the vernacular.
No, we don't.
No. So what did you mean by mysticism then?
When you look into the sky and then you prescribe, I don't know, is it prescribe or prescribe? Prescribe what these things are, and you name them according to the gods that you believe in.
You see, you just did it again, didn't you? You just did it again.
Why are you interrupting me?
Well, because to point out that you just did it again.
I didn't just do it again.
Yes, you did.
Yes.
Okay. Which Roman gods do we believe in? Specifically, which ones do I believe in? And when have I discussed?
Well, I'm not saying you believe in them, but
okay. So who in here believed in Roman gods?
The people who
and has discussed this with you.
The people who name the planets, the NASA, the
You think the
NASA.
Which guy was Milky Way?
Joey, listen to what you're doing. Listen to what your position is now. Your position is now that if by using Roman mythological names, that means the NASA people believe in those gods.
Why
now you know that's not true. We know that's not true because it has poetry. Because it's poetry. So we know that's not true. You know that's not true. Listen to what I'm saying before you interrupt. We know it's not true. You know it's not true, and yet you say it as if it's worth the time to say, as if somehow you're going to get somewhere with it, as somehow interesting to anybody.
There's always a double meaning behind these things.
Joby, let me tell you something.
Why do you think they're called? Sorry, go on.
It quickly causes people to stop giving you the benefit of the doubt, and this is why you end up getting muted and just ignored.
I'm not here to prove anything to anybody.
I know you're not, but I don't think anyone is. But that doesn't mean you don't have to be at least have a basic level of respect for people when you talk.
In what way have I disrespected you?
By lying and being disingenuous and misrepresenting stuff and just being absurd.
How do you know I was lying? Absurd. That's probably.
You don't really believe that NASA believes in the gods. You don't believe that.
I don't think they believe in those gods, but
I
they
know
use
you
those
don't,
gods to
I'm saying.
represent.
Yes, but you said that means they believe in them, and that's what we're saying is, look, you lying.
But he said we believe in them. He said the gods.
Since when did NASA name the fucking planets?
That's why it's called heliocentrism.
Oh, Joe, you're doing it again already. Like you just can't help it, can you?
Why does it have the ism behind it?
It's all he's got, I guess.
Just ignore it.
It's all I got.
When you say stupid things, you should look them up and see what they mean.
I think Chemo disappeared, huh? So is Chemo legit like upset about Randy?
Definitely. Can't you hear?
No. I could. I was surprised by that.
When one thinks about it, it's quite funny, and the fact that you guys jump all over it, and just the implications of it all, just means more hard work for you guys.
Chemo, you were preventing us talking about it earlier.
I can't see anything more than more stress and pressure coming your way. To be honest.
The more fun.
Do you think he's trolling?
I think joking? I don't know if he's joking. I mean, I think I just can't. It's hard to say because he's saying that space is not real, moonlanders are not real. A lot of things, everything but the globe is real. He's want to go. So he is going with the globe. He's going to try and make an explanation. But either way, like it's not that, in the grand scheme of things, it's not that important. It just has further implications for you.
It's very interesting.
Because if we get a bigger kick out of it.
Fine, but like I say, it's like I said to Auntie, there's implications of what you're saying. Are you prepared to answer them? Just like you guys, I said to him, just like I said to you guys, it's like I was talking to a baller, just like normal. I says, look, whatever angle you take, you always have a problem somewhere else. So I said, okay, fine. We want a ball, Ranty. Like I would say to you, we want a ball. 3 minutes a ball. What keeps the water on? How do you explain the gas? You didn't want to get into any of that. So it just shows it's not a strong position unless you have an actual physical measurement.
But it's a flat Earth because that falls in pretty much every aspect.
There was no way that you guys because you have to have the full package. You can't just have curvature. You've got to have gravity. You've got to have space. You've got.
You have to have gravity too, to be honest with you.
But you have them, all of them.
You've got to have all of that, all together, not just one thing.
We got it.
Kimo, because you didn't reply to my question from today. So I'm waiting for more than 10 hours, 12 hours. You have an answer.
Unless we see Ranty debating flat earthers on these points, I wouldn't take this so
I have
seriously.
asked you something.
Why
are you avoiding again?
I wouldn't take this so seriously, globe earthers.
Do you hear Dakota's?
There's been greater people than us.
Yes, I do hear Dakota's, yes.
Thousands of years.
He's derailing to other subjects. Just focus on the Ranty a little bit.
Just tell him later then or something. Just you can address him. Like you don't have to ignore him. It's so rude.
Yeah, let's do it later.
No, because He was ignoring me all day today. Only he was told me because he crashed me, but he doesn't answer to not even one question. Just one question, mate.
What's that question?
One question I have it for you.
Yeah. What's the question?
So we have a closed system in that system you have the sun, and inside of the sun you have the atmosphere and everything what you have it on the flat earth. Yeah, this is your claim. What you have what you have shown me today.
They don't know. Actually, that's what they say. They don't know. They have no idea.
What's the question?
The question is, how come you have a heating source inside of a container? Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And nothing is gonna boil inside.
Mm-hmm. What did I say?
So can you explain to me why?
What did I tell you this morning?
You didn't tell me nothing. You avoided the question all the time.
What did we say about quarks?
What?
Quarks.
What's that?
This morning when we spoke about things going in and out of existence. Physicists, right?
Oh my God, mate! So you're going with superpositions in gas. You're going quantic in gases.
Yeah, but I gave you the answer.
I want to show you. Oh, for real. Let's go to superpositions. Let's go there. So can you explain to me why the things are disappearing, like you said, suddenly? Let's go there.
Speak to the astrophysicists or the physicists that deal with this.
No. But you implied because those are the things that have been explained at the heating and everything inside of your Earth. Can you explain it to me? What's happened there?
So what do you want to explain? The gases.
No, I don't try to explain nothing. You told me because the quarks are popping out from existence. Can you explain to me why?
Oh no, nobody knows why.
But so what the fuck are you talking about?
You asked about the pressure inside the container, yeah?
It's not the pressure, man. I didn't say nothing about the pressure. So you told me because you cannot leave the Earth because you have something that's contained the gas, and you cannot have the universe outside of the Earth because something is containing the gas inside of the Earth. Yeah, you told me for a couple of times. Can you tell me how it's possible to have something that is heating constantly the gas inside of the container on isolated container, and it's not going to provoke a boiling inside?
What is it boiling at night?
Man, you don't deviate from the subject.
There's night somewhere and there's day somewhere all the time.
When that gas heats up,
let me help you with something. Let me help you. I'm gonna put a picture in the chat. Just to understand what's happened when you have something that is isolated inside, because the energy doesn't get out, the matter doesn't get out, and everything is gonna stay isolated, and it's gonna boil.
Mm-hmm. But is there a moon? Is there a moon in there as well to cool it down? Hmm.
Do you have a heat source and a cold source at the same time?
Hmm. Do you have a
same container?
Do you have a moon that cools everything down as well, Decoders?
Man, the energy and the matter doesn't get out. Doesn't matter because you have a moon. The moon doesn't cold anything. The heat is gonna constantly is gonna make the heat inside of the container.
Yeah, and you've got the moon to cool it down.
What law tells us that you can make something can produce a light and not produce heat at the same time?
No, the moon produces a cold light.
It produces it. It produces a light, so it means it has to produce a heat too.
No, it doesn't produce heat. It produces.
Tell me how that happens.
So it's colder in the moonlight than it is in the shade.
But the moonlight, you say it's light, so it's projecting a light, meaning it's producing it. And you can't produce something without having a heat.
No,
correct.
That's what I'm saying.
Light, it's energy.
No, the moon cools things down. That's why sometimes.
Show me that.
That's why. I'm trying to answer his question here. So sometimes, Decodus, you see the moon and the sun at the same time. Yes, that answers
man.
That's
you're
the answer to your question.
You're gibbering. Every source of light is producing heat. Do you know from what is light?
No, but
light
as you said, the sun gets too hot, right? So unless the moon comes near it or in the same vicinity, then like you said, it would get too hot. But we see, like I saw the moon today and the sun because it was really hot today, you see? And if the moon wasn't there, then obviously what would happen? We would obviously blow up.
Do you know the cycles of the moon in the sky?
Are you listening to the answer of your question? You asked why doesn't the container
you told
blow
me because it was hot outside. The moon is having closer to the sun to cool the sun. You're joking.
The
now.
moon cools everything down. Yeah, that's the idea. The sun heats up, the moon cools down. You know.
But do you know the cycles of the moon?
Cycles of the moon. Not about the cycle. We're talking about cause and effect. You said what
causes the heat, the coolness from the sun?
You said why doesn't the container blow up, get hotter and hotter and hotter? And the answer
it's gonna boil, mate. It's not blowing. You're gonna boil inside here.
To boil, yes. Why doesn't it boil? Now, what cools it down is the moon. Moon keeps it at equilibrium. See? So you have good weather.
How come the energy that is get it in on the container is not gonna get out, mate? It's not gonna go nowhere. Who's gonna cool it?
Because when the gases cool down, they fall back down to the ground. When they heat up, they go up. Duh.
Oh my God, you're completely nonsense.
The question has been answered, you fucking retard.
That's not answered at all.
What happens to gases when
He's
they've been
not logical? Not logical.
He doesn't know what's happened in nowhere around him.
Well, think about it. If you have gas, you cool it down, it freezes, it falls, becomes more dense, and goes back down to the earth.
Who's gonna freeze the air? Who's gonna freeze the air if the energy from the sun is not gonna get out from the container, mate? You don't get it. How hard it is. Who's gonna freeze the air?
Because the moon absorbs as well as produces.
So you have a magical moon.
Predicts.
And the moon and sun work together. Stop being silly now. It's obvious.
So you have a magical moon.
Oh my God.
Yes.
It's a magical moon.
So again, gibberish things on the pure and simple physics, and you call yourself scientist.
Yes, what we do is we do science in the natural physical world.
We do. You don't do nothing, mate. You're completely nonsense in everything.
Well, if you want knowledge,
stop telling from now on, because you cannot leave the earth, because it's something that is gonna don't let you to leave the earth. Because we can leave the earth all the time. We're gonna do it. And I have proved it to you tonight, and I'm gonna prove it to you from day on. Because you can leave every time when you want the earth because of these things. It's called thermodynamics. Learn a little bit, and after that, tell and have something to prove of it. Goodbye.
Have a nice evening. But, for me, like I say, as long as everybody is on the earth, living the flat earth life, that means you're walking on the ground. As long as you're not going to space, then we're good to go. As long as the public are not going to space, then we're good to go. So as long as we remain here under the dome or the container or the medium or whatever it is that's keeping us here on the earth, we're good to go. Okay? As long as you guys don't fly around the entire board from north to south in one trip, as long as you don't do that, we're good to go.
Say we're good to go one more time. Say we're good to go one more time. I dare you.
I'm just saying that we are good to go in these situations. So it doesn't matter what you say, as long as you just poetry about we have a 24-hour sun. Well, we can say we'll show this, and
we're good to go.
We're good to go. You can just say, well, we've got it, we've done it, someone's done it, someone's seen it. You all know that's blah blah blah. Because if we said that, we've been to the ice wall, we've been to the dome, the first thing you would say is show it, prove it, demonstrate it, give us the numbers, the facts, the figures, all of those things. So that's why again,
you go better. You go one step better. We can't ever go there. We can't go there. Nobody can go there. It's impossible.
That's why I say we are the leaders of the new school, and if we're not, you're going to have to show that
No, Kimo, you are a nonsense guy who's talking stupid things on the
there's only one way
internet.
to find out, and that is to show a measurement of the Earth dropping, not with just opticking and saying, "Well, I think something's obstructed."
Oh, so now you're jumping from a subject to another.
Well, we're just saying the entire model from top to bottom. We're just letting you be. You've got to be aware that just because you have curvature doesn't mean that you have gravity. If you have gravity, you've got to show curvature. You've got to show rotation. You've got to show gas pressure. There are so many things in your model that are nonsensical that we're going to be here for years to come demonstrating
But
this idea.
they're nonsensical in your way too, mate.
Well, let's prove it now then.
You're boiling inside with your theory.
All right, show it right now.
So what are you talking about?
What have you got right now?
I have shown it. I have demonstrated to you early.
What can you demonstrate right now?
I have proved it to you.
Because we're here online. We're here where we should be, on the flat Earth, online, talking about these things. On a globe, we wouldn't be doing this. You would be talking to me from the moon, or from Mars, or from some other planet that they think they can go to. But as long as we're here on the flat plane talking with wires going under the flat Earth, cables.
We're not talking right now with wires.
Well, then we're good to go. You see? And that's why I say we
are
right the leaders, and we will remain in that position, the leaders. And you guys will forever be frustrated with new flat earthers rising, coming to this understanding, because you guys are going to struggle just like Ranty. Unfortunately, I did say to him he's going to create more problems for himself in terms of having to answer things. And obviously he's going to say, I don't want to answer these things. He's going to be a real baller, like what ballers do. I don't want to talk about that. I don't have an answer.
I'm in Texas. There's not any kind of wires connecting me to you in any such manner.
No, I'm just talking about the underground cable system, right?
Not for me.
Well, I'm just saying, you know, you guys can dream of going to space. It's a wonderful idea. We all like that idea. You know, but we've never seen anyone we know like that we can say, look, let's track them to space.
Put out some couple $100,000. $1 million you can go.
Yeah, it's not true. Again, we can talk about that on the flat Earth. We're not going to talk about it in space, are we? We will never have the discussion in space. And as long as we don't have that in space, we're good to go.
Because you won't go.
Well, as long as you don't go, or anyone here doesn't go, we are good to go.
I want to go. And in fact, if I had $500 million, I'd go.
If you guys were in space, we wouldn't be having this conversation. So as long as you are here, on the ground, on the flat plane, as you should be, because God doesn't allow you to leave the system. As long as God is right and you are wrong, we are good to go. Now, how about that? Right? So just because Ranty has seen
God can still
an
be
image,
right, and you can be wrong,
and something else has happened, we don't know what's happened, we don't know what's going on, but something mysterious has happened for whatever reasons, okay? And we won't go into whatever reasons like that because Ranty is still a colleague, and I still think something else, Array, something is going on, and we will be revealed shortly. But he'll be in the same boat as any other globe earther, okay? Which is demonstrate, or there's no conversation. And that's how powerful. You guys don't listen. Flat Earth is a very powerful position to be in. You know, I'm almost not that I wanted Randy to be a flat earther, but when he's saying these things, I'm rubbing my hands like, right. So it's like a brand new baller for me. You know, you rub your hand, you're like, okay, this is great. But he didn't want to get into it. He didn't want to get into any debate or discussion. He was like, well, that's the drop, and that's just that's it. That's the drop. That's it. There's the horizon. There's the drop. And that's it.
And how many times do we say, we don't know, you can't see that, you can't touch it, you can't go there, you can't, it's impossible. We don't say that.
So, you know, I mean, you guys getting excited, you need to have a reality check. And that's
what we get is we don't know what the sun is, we don't know what the sky is, we don't know what the waters are, we don't know what the sky is. That's baloney.
Necessarily bad. Not necessarily bad. It is a powerful position to be in. Chemo is making a convincing argument. Chemo, if I wanted to come to the flat earth side, tell me, how do I forget everything I know so that I can do that?
Test it. Go outside and physically measure what you've been told. If there is obstruction, physical
That max to the moon?
The moon? You can't verify the moon stuff.
Yeah, do you have anything less silly? Something a little more practical. Something a little more
curvature.
realistic.
Measure Earth. Go outside and measure the Earth.
Why do you dismiss everything that I've done as like not valid?
Because what you've been taught is disinformation.
What have I been taught?
You've been
versus
taught,
what I know and
you've been taught,
research,
studied, whatever books
found out
you've
for
read.
myself, information that's never been repeated. I'm almost done. There, I'm done.
Okay. Go on.
Now you have an actual question to answer.
Right. So everything that you've been told, studied, read, looked into, researched, and all the information you've gathered cannot be demonstrated to be true in reality. Okay. Now you say it can be, but you yourself you haven't been out there in the real world to show. Look, my study shows that what I've been taught or studied or researched represents reality. Never done that. The day the ball earther goes out himself will be the day he will be in complete shock and in not denial.
You're an idiot, Timo.
Absolute acceptance. The fact that they cannot replicate what they've been researching as a globe earther.
You accept that China is real, right?
China is not in contention, no. Yes, so of course
you could go there, right? So you accept observations from the Southern Hemisphere, Australia, all of our Aussie baller brothers here, and the flat earthers in Australia, a strange breed they are, living in the Southern Hemisphere, being a flat earther. That's
right.
Beating itself. But yeah, you still haven't told me why everything I know is invalid.
Invalid because it cannot be verified in the real world, i.e.
Do you believe Earth is real?
What does that mean? What does that mean? Who cannot verify the elevation of the northern celestial pole in the northern hemisphere or the southern celestial pole in the southern hemisphere? How it corresponds to your latitude all over the world. All over the world. Where is that reputed? Can you show me one place where that's reputed?
The stories are that it's been done. It's been done all over the world.
Answer the question, please.
That's not.
Please don't garble on about something else.
No, you asked me a different question now. No, you asked me one question about how do we know what you've been taught is wrong, and I'm answering that. Now you've asked me another question in the middle of me answering that. How we know that what you've been told, like I've just said, is wrong, because if you were to actually go out there and physically, practically try to demonstrate what you were told.
You're repeating the same answer you gave before and ignoring the question
then you
that I asked you after that.
The next stage is, okay, I'm going to go out there and show you that I can repeat and replicate the measurements of what I've been told. That's it. What more can you do from this point?
So, now answer the question that I just asked you. What's wrong with this knowledge? And why can't it be repeated? Give me one example of it being repeated.
You haven't been out there, that's why. You haven't done it. All that's in contention.
Okay, just call it silly and call it a day.
The whole model is in contention. Everything is in contention. Your whole reality is in contention.
No, not in contention.
Yes,
not really.
Everything is in contention.
Well, then that's a meaningless statement.
No.
Because people can put anything in contention.
No. Wild claims about the cosmos and where we live is
there's nothing wild. No, not wild.
So if it's not wild,
Curve's ever been outside?
If it's not wild, show it to be true with a demonstration.
He might have a limited, time that he's allowed.
He may not even think you exist,
and that's why the flat Earth will continue to move forward because of that. Because of this simple conversation what just happened just now. Show it in the real world. You're going to say, well, I can't in your mind, and then revert to something else. And then we just go back to, well, you can't show it, so now what? Just believe it.
Can a line be tangent to a sphere, Kimo?
Yeah, at the horizon, yes.
But no, there's no horizon that's needed here. Can a line be tangent to a sphere? That's all. Simple question.
Yes.
Explain that to your retarded boy Jeremy, please.
What? So it goes around the ball?
No. Do you know what a tangent line is?
Yes. That's a line going just over the...
Well, then why are you talking about going around the ball? What does a tangent line have to do with going around the ball?
What are you talking about? Just going straight across it?
A tangent line is what I'm talking about.
I'm thinking of a circle or a sphere.
If you don't know what it is, say so.
Yes.
No shame.
Yes, we know what the line is. It's tangents across.
Okay, then quit talking like you don't know what it is.
Yes, but are you talking about a circle or on a spherical object?
A tangent line to a sphere is what I said.
Okay. So can it? Well, how will it be?
By definition.
No, because the line is straight and the Earth is curved.
So what? Okay, if you say that it can't be tangent now, tangent to a sphere, you got to tell me why. Because the definition is of a tangent line. A line or tangent,
circle,
line or plane that touches the surface of a curve at one point. That's it. Curved sphere, curved circle.
Draw a diagram. Let's have a look.
No, I will not.
Well,
there are thousands on Google. Thousands on Google.
If I may, if you put a basketball on the ground is therefore tangent to the basketball.
In concept.
At what point are you trying to make?
It's a way to use physical objects to try to demonstrate it.
You're confusing everyone, Curve. What's your point?
He's not confusing anybody. Come on.
What's his point?
Jeremy says that a line can't be tangent to a sphere.
What's his point then, Beach?
Of course, the line can be tangent to a sphere. The line can be
Jeremy says no, and he digs his heels in, and he laughs at those who disagree.
No, but that's on him.
I never said that.
I worry about him.
I literally never said that. What he's saying, that's a straw man.
So you think curved line?
A line can be tangent to a sphere.
We're suspiciously quiet.
Jeremy, we're giving you a chance to say yes, it can happen.
Go find a timestamp of me saying that. It's ridiculous.
Well,
I never
do you
said
think
it.
that it's true or not?
That's how you have it. You have a tangent. You need a straight line to a curved surface.
So you can have a tangent to a sphere, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Well, has he changed his mind on it?
Yes, he did.
Finally.
Yes. He also says that you can't find a timestamp where he says that and that you're lying. So there's that too.
Tangent can't be. What do you say? Tangent can't be tangent to a sphere, or you can't have a tangent to a sphere because the tangent. Something about a horizontal requiring two lines.
He's making this shit up. Can you tell? He's just making this shit
up. I think he's trying to remember what's going on. Go ahead.
Don't have a tangent on the ball we live on. That's the point, Kurt.
So we live on a ball now, Kimo?
Yeah, so if we have a ball, why can't we make a tangent line on it?
You can.
How?
And we do.
But doing the same way you make a tangent line for any sphere. You just need a line that's straight and touches the sphere in one point only.
Where? How would you do that? If you're 6 foot or whatever foot, how would you get your line?
You start by drawing the horizontal perpendicular to the gravity vector, and then you lower the line until it touches the first point.
When does that ever happen?
They can't actually make a tangent. This is geometry.
When has that ever happened? When has that ever happened? When has anyone ever done that? When has anyone ever?
Whenever you need to do geometric calculations or geometric understanding of things, you'll use tangents all the time.
Has anyone ever done that before?
Yeah, you use them in like architecture and surveying and all kinds of stuff.
Every time you put a spirit level on the ground, you're actually making a tangent. Because if that spirit level was 100 kilometers long, that would be a tangent line.
Nobody
the
has
fact
100.
that it's a meter long.
Yeah. That's the imaginary.
That's the idea. The definition of the line, though.
I get that. That's the theory. That's the idea. But has anyone actually ever put a tangent over the ball?
Oh, yeah.
Yes, when you put this spirit level down, you're doing that.
Actually,
every time you put a spirit level on the ground.
Space, yeah.
Then what?
No, they can't.
When we put satellites into space, they form a tangent at some point to the Earth. Yeah.
Do they?
This is all.
What?
Do they?
What do you mean by that, man?
No, hold on. Let's hear that. So you're saying you put a satellite up? Go on.
Yeah. And at some point, you could draw a tangent from the Earth to the point where the satellite intersects it.
Yeah.
Because it goes around the Earth a couple times. Yeah.
What are you talking about, monkey?
I get what you mean.
All right, never mind. It's fine.
That makes sense.
What's the tangent line? What's a tangent line?
Anything that intersects a point on a sphere to another.
No, that's not a tangent. That's a normal. A tangent's the one that it only touches the curve in one spot only.
Yeah, isn't okay. All right.
Which I guess is technically not an intersection. Is I guess the difference.
If you had a geostationary satellite and you
have a lot of
lowered the satellite to the ground, you would have a very big fucking tangent.
No, what? If you extend the line from any point.
Yeah, but how do you have a tangent if the horizon is not physical?
All right, Kimo. Yeah, we're done.
God,
You know what the tangent is on the satellite? You know how we talk about like horizontal velocity, or we talk about the velocity of the equator?
Yeah.
The direction of that velocity is in the tangent of the Earth.
Yeah, that's what I thought. So wouldn't the satellite cross?
Yeah, so the satellite. Yeah, exactly. So the satellite's constantly in a tangent with the Earth's circle as it moves around. Yeah, that's true.
Kimo, they also can't make a. They also can't make a straight line, Kimo, because the light bends. So they have no way to actually make a straight line in reality.
Yeah, no, there's nothing that goes across the Earth like that, like a tangent line, like a satellite doesn't look straight down or across.
There's all kinds of. There are millions
off into space.
There's infinite number. Of course there is. They're invisible though.
Oh, they're invisible.
Yeah, like molecules. You can't see them.
Yeah, but you don't ever see the rest of the Earth like that. On one side, together. That would be your straight line of sight. So when you look straight out at the horizon, you look off into space, which will see through the atmosphere. That would never happen.
I don't think you know what you're saying anymore.
If you fire a laser straight through to the horizon and beyond the horizon, that laser should go off into space.
Yeah, it does.
That would that would never happen.
And if you turned it round 180 degrees, it would do exactly the same thing.
Exactly. Because if you sent an airplane along that laser line, the plane would never fly off into space.
Going out of space. Well, I mean, the plane would have a hard time getting to space, but if it could magically get to space, like if it could keep following the path, it would get to space.
Why would it have to be magic? It just follows the tangent line.
Well, because the plane can't fly when there's no atmosphere. So pretty soon to get to an altitude, there would be no atmosphere, and it would start to fail.
Well, that's the point. You could fly straight off. That's the point of it dipping down. It doesn't dip down.
That's not the point of it, but it dips down in order to not fly into space, because that would be a disaster for the plane. But if you kept following the trajectory of the laser, that's where you would end up, is in space, because that's what the laser
airplane do? Reaches the tangent point and then what? Carries on straight.
Well, you're saying you want to follow it. So if you follow the tangent, you'll keep flying up and 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 up until the plane fails.
Yeah, so that's the idea, the presupposition if it was on the board. But in reality, it doesn't ever do it flies straight.
Well, the ball is reality, though.
It flies horizontal. It never dips its nose down.
Well, that's because it's not trying to go to space. It's trying to stay close to the surface.
Yes, but if it headed towards the horizon, following that tangent line, once it reaches that point...
It's never following that tangent line. It doesn't want to follow the tangent line.
Once it reaches that point...
does not fly
it doesn't ever try to do that. You were just postulating what if it did, but it's not doing that in real life.
Would fly along the tangent line if it's flying straight.
No, why would they want to do that? That will take them into outer space. That's a terrible place for them to go.
Planes actually nose up. Planes always nose up. Like when they're flying, they're putting their nose up.
Oh my gosh, what does that have to do with anything? We're not talking about that.
Oh, okay, sorry. My bad.
Yeah, but you're saying that you think that they are going down a hill, like SE is saying. They're not doing that. They're flying straight horizontal. And when they reach that tangent point, they don't nose down around the ball.
They're just following the curve of the Earth as well.
No, they're not following the curve. They're flying straight.
They're
not curving. They're flying straight.
They're maintaining their elevation. Maintaining their elevation, which keeps
going down.
Yeah, so they maintain their elevation, and when you maintain your elevation as you fly around the Earth, you're going to end up following the curve.
That's the presupposition flying around the Earth. Flying over a straight flat plane.
Well, assuming it's a globe, that's what will happen.
Well, we're not assuming. We know it's over a flat plane.
Well, we know it's a globe, so it's not a hard assumption to make.
So we go back to the spirit level. If you have a spirit level at sea level on the beach, and you look across the top of that spirit level, the horizon is below the spirit level. And if you turn around and look back the other way, the horizon is below the spirit level.
Which horizon? The geometric one or the apparent one?
Of course, it would always be below you. The ground's underneath your feet.
Yeah, but which horizon is he talking about?
That's pedantic.
Which horizon are you talking about? Well, which one do you mean? The one that moves or the one that's physical? Which one are you talking about?
Well, the physical horizon is always going to be
where is that
below
physical
the spirit
horizon?
level.
Where is the physical horizon?
In both directions.
What?
Along that, 108, 360 degrees. If you had a flat table and it was dead flat, dead level with the spirit level, and you looked across that, and you were on an island in the middle of the ocean, the horizon would be below what you could see.
Which
all
horizon? The
you.
physical one or the
He
apparent
already answered you. He already gave you an answer. Stop being a jerk.
I didn't hear his answer. Reach was over talking. Which horizon was you talking about?
Physical horizon.
So, where is the physical horizon outside?
He answered this too.
Below the level of the spirit level. Below your
Of course, the ground's underneath your feet. Why
So,
would
if
it
you're
not
a
be
1
under?
foot observer, why is the horizon 10 miles away than it should be?
It's also not always under your feet. Sometimes it's over your feet. Ask your boy Jesse Klowski or Anatuck or whoever made that observation.
So you're wrong, generally, Shady. Again.
Wrong. You're wrong.
You're spiraling now, as usual. So, like I said, when people like Ranty just quickly jump ship over a picture, there's a lot of hard work to do. It's not an easy road. You've still got a lot of things to answer.
You really are upset by this, Kimo. Why does it bother you so much? It's like, so what if
No, I'm just saying that when you guys think, oh wow, he's a glober now, I don't think this is a victory.
I know, but
it makes it more difficult.
You seem very upset by this, though. I've never heard you so like transparently concerned about something.
He's in damage mode so heavily.
I find it rather funny, actually.
Yeah, it's not that big a deal. I don't think you need to be so worried.
No, this is for you guys. You guys think now he's a globe Earth, huh? Like, whoopity.
I mean, if he says he is, we'll accept it for now.
Yeah.
I think the trick to this is that, remember, you guys can believe this. You guys believe this in the face of so much evidence and argument, so much to disbelief. You guys still believe it. Ranty's not going to be the straw that broke your camel's back. Like, you guys will still disbelieve all the truth.
Of course.
There's no trouble with that.
Of course not. That's what I mean. So, like I said, don't get too excited over people going to.
Well, I'm the one telling you that.
How many scientists do we believe that are on the Earth? Probably out of 7 billion or 8 billion people, there'd be what, 100 million scientists, say? Like a guessing, a round number? Would everyone agree on
100 million is not high. That sounds high.
Say 50 million scientists that actually know what they're talking about. There'd have to be 50 million scientists out of 8 billion.
7 million. 7 million is the conservative estimate. The real number of scientists in the world is about 7 million.
All right, that sounds cool.
From 100 million, let me get you down to 7 million.
What Chemo's saying is that those few thousand people that believe in flat Earth, and trust me, there's not more than
I think there's a million of them.
Serious flat earthers.
Probably two or 3 million. 2 or 3 million, maybe.
I think 1 million. I think 1 million is a good estimate.
And most of those are completely uneducated people who know nothing about science. They follow the flat Earth doctrine. But all the actual scientists that have studied things for their entire lives, 40 years, 50 years, with actual measurements, scientific data, and everything else, the flirts are saying they're wrong and they know more.
Every day.
It's ridiculous.
Are you ever going to stop?
This guy's in need of trauma trauma therapy.
He's spiraling, Chemo.
What are you trying to say, Jeremy? What are you trying to say?
Oh, no. He said he's spiraling.
No, Jeremy, what are you trying to say?
Yeah, your boy's
saying that the numbers.
The boy's spiraling. It's okay, though.
You were trying to say something before that. You were trying to say something before that when he interrupted or kept going, and then you said he's spiraling. What were you trying to say originally?
It's just that the numbers
I mean,
add
how
up.
many?
Hey, Shady, let Jeremy answer, please. Okay?
I don't know how many.
Go ahead, Jeremy.
I can address that once. He was rambling on for a while, but as far as us not knowing anything, I mean, we know it's better to not know something and then think you know the wrong thing. First of all,
but you guys think you know all kinds of stuff that's wrong. You guys hold on, Shady. You guys tell us that it's not a globe all the time. You say with absolute certainty. In fact, you tell us there's no doubt in your mind about it.
You have no measurements of drop.
But it contradicts what you just said a second ago. Though you said it's better to not know than to think you know something that's wrong. So you're saying that you should never try to make a definitive claim, and yet you're making definitive claims all the time. So how do you reconcile those two things?
What are we making definitive claims on?
If you do tell me with certainty, absolute certainty, it's not a globe.
I didn't hear you.
You say with absolute certainty it's not a globe. You tell me that all the time.
Oh, of course not. There's no.
Then how does that not contradict what you just said?
Listen, water is always flat on top. The world's made up of like 7.
Okay, so how does that not contradict what you just said?
What's up?
I know what you say. I remember what you say, but why does that not contradict what you just said?
How does it?
Because you said that you should never do that. You should never make these claims about with certainty for fear that you might be wrong.
I mean,
so why do you make those claims?
I know that water doesn't drop from horizontal. That's how we get a horizontal. So
I know, but do you understand what I'm asking, Jeremy? You're just avoiding the question. I'm saying you just said a second ago you should never make claims with certainty, and now you're saying you do them, but you don't know. Okay, I see. Well, then what's the point of making the claim? Everybody thinks they know something they say with certainty. If you're allowed to make claims with certainty if you know it, then that doesn't change anything.
No, humanity knows this. All of humanity knows that water forms a horizontal.
Yeah, that's what they know, all right, buddy.
Oh my gosh.
All of humanity knows that it's not flat. So there you go.
This is why I said it's going to be funny.
It's not even remotely true, Jeremy. It's not only is it not true, but it's certainly not true that it's common knowledge.
The story is they use this method of water being flat to level out the Great Pyramids. That's how
that could be true, but because you don't need precision of the level in which the water is not flat in order to do that. So it's fine.
Precise building in the world.
It does. It could be 10 times more precise than it is, and it's still not precise enough. It could be 100 times more precise than it is, and it's still not precise enough. Precision is a continuum, and you're nowhere. Listen, precision is a continuum, and you're nowhere near precise enough to have any idea whether the water is flat or not. You're working on You're working on a scale that doesn't allow you to test for that.
Listen, that is the most precise building.
It could be 1,000 times more precise than it is, and it's still not precise enough. It doesn't matter if it's the most. I understand, but it could be the most precise. It could be the most precise. It could be more precise than it even is, and it's still not precise enough.
And the pyramid isn't the biggest building in the world by any means.
It doesn't even matter. Call it the most precise building, the biggest building, everything you want. Give it every accolade you want. It's nowhere near precise enough, Jeremy. That's a very simple idea.
Oh my god. Give us a headache.
You understand?
Too loud.
You understand what I'm saying there, Jeremy?
The thing is, when they built the Great Pyramid, the story is
here you go again.
The water.
But why are you not responding to what's actually being said, Jeremy? This is when you just start troll. You heard what I said, so why don't you respond to it?
He screams down the microphone.
You're telling me.
I'm just asking for an actual adult response to my actual point.
You're telling me the building's not precise enough, but the only reason they even got it close enough to precise was because they knew water was flat, and they had.
I'm telling you, it's not precise enough, though. But it's not precise enough. But it's not. Hold on a second. Hold on. Let me just see if I can get him to answer one question. But it's not precise enough. So if you hear me saying that,
how do you know?
Because the precision required to see how much curvature is in the water is on the level of nanometers, and we know that nothing could possibly be working on that.
Longer than that. Do you know how long the pyramid is?
Nothing is on the scale of a nanometer, especially not when we made the pyramids.
You're straw manning it. It's more than a nano. Do you even know what the numbers are?
It is not precise to the nanometer, Jeremy. There's no way for it to be.
The numbers are.
It can't be precise to the nanometer. It's very difficult.
It's way more than nanometers, Beach. Way more.
It is more than nanometers. It has to be smaller than nanometers to be more precise, idiot. Of course, it's more than nanometers.
No, the length of we're talking about.
Yeah, that's the difference between Toyota and fucking Chevrolet, bro. Nanometers matter.
Dude, you have to be smaller than the nanometer to be more
way
precise.
bigger than nanometers. It would be. You don't even know.
Yes, of course it's bigger than a nanometer. That's what makes it imprecise. It's too big.
Hang on.
You're not even listening, are you, Jeremy? You start over talking when I talk, and then you don't hear what I say, and you just pretend like you're saying something without.
I think everyone can hear you, V. No one can hear you.
Hold on, keep on talking. It's too big to be precise enough. Just stop over talking to me. It's too big. It's too big to be precise enough, Jeremy.
No, the fact that
can we drop off the pyramid for a second? And go to
we can't drop off the pyramid for a second. What the fuck? Stop interrupting.
Oh my god.
The fact that it is that big shows you that it's more than nanometers each, okay? You don't even know what the numbers are. You made up nanometers.
Jeremy,
pulled them out of your ass. Who is over talking?
Okay, listen. What I'm saying about the nanometers is it has to be smaller than a nanometer. The scale, the level of precision has to be within 1 and 2 nanometers. That's how precise you have to get it. So if you make it way bigger than that, and you're not worried about the nanometer scale, well, then you're not precise enough.
There would have been millimeters of drop in the. How long is the Great Pyramid? It's the base, 400 meters.
I don't know, 400 feet.
Feet? That was meters.
400 feet, I'm guessing.
Well, let's say it is 400 feet. What's that? 100 something meters. The point is, there would definitely be some drop there that they,
the scale of nanometers.
But they used water because they knew it was flat, so they didn't have to worry.
Again, on the scale of nanometers, it will. All right. Well, I think you understand. You're just in denial, I think. All right. So whoever wanted to get off the subject of pyramids, please go ahead now.
Please, yeah, me, please. Have you ever researched the channel, the channel tunnel? That is
tunnel.
What is it? Like 30 miles long?
Like a long ass tunnel. Yeah.
And it bends and drops because they followed the chalk level under the channel to go through the softest material that they could, the most stable and softest material they could. And they say on all the documents there that the surveyors did that they had to allow for earth curve. And when they met in the middle, they were only off by like half a metre. And they took in earth curve for that.
Is that possibly because land masses are above sea level? So if you move massive directions in east or west, there's oceans, and I'm pretty sure every landmass on every continent drops off as it gets closer to the ocean.
Of course, because you would need a container to hold all that water dragging out. You guys are not using your heads.
Yeah, we don't.
Do you know how many bends and twists and dives and turns are in the tunnel? And
you gotta use your brains. You're not using your brains.
They state in there that they had to allow for earth curvature because of that distance. And when they finally met in the middle of the bloody channel, they were only like a metre or something off, a couple of metres off, or whatever. It was bugger all that they were off. And they had to take earth curve into account for that. You can read all the documentation from the surveyors that did it. It's all there, all listed, all the data is available to the public. They had to take in earth curve for that.
Measure, let's see it.
And, well, you can go and find it yourself, man. Just look up the channel tunnel surveying.
This is your claim. What do you mean I can go and find it myself? This is your claim.
Just Google it.
Are you nuts?
You nuts, Jeremy? You're the one that's being squirmy and weird.
I'm not
Just
being
Google
squirmy.
it, man.
He made a claim and
Just
said
Google it,
wants
man.
me to go look his claim up, man. Come on.
How hard is it to fucking type in 10 words, you moron?
Is that even
it's 10 words. Type it into Google.
Claim up?
I didn't hear what it was, but it's not like you demanding him to go do it for you is a little bit good.
I'm not demanding. He needs to withdraw his claim and concede that he lost.
He doesn't need to withdraw his claim.
What's that he lost, withdraw his claim. I asked
you to claim, Jeremy. If you had to back up all of your claims, we'd be nowhere, dude. Are you kidding me? You really want the standard to be you have to go to Google and bring us back a backup for all of your claims, Jeremy?
Type in 10 words in Google.
Well, so are his.
Type in 10 words in Google and you'll find all the documentation.
Just saying, hold yourself to the same standard that you're going to try to hold him to.
Oh, absolutely.
Okay. So then let's see yours.
Type in 10
my
words.
My claim is the water's flat. You know, it's always measurably flat.
Right, let's see some evidence of that.
There.
Let's see some citations, some evidence.
We could just go do a measurement of some water.
No, I'm not going to do your claim. You just said the criteria that you have to go find the evidence. You just told him that 2 seconds ago, and now you're trying to score him out of it.
All right, let me Google cup of water so I can show you some flat water.
Oh, okay. I'll wait here.
Yeah,
prove it's flat.
Instead of Googling channel tunnel surveying method, type in cup of water.
Yes, I'm going to prove my claim. Now you prove your claim.
That makes
your claim had better show that the cup of water has flat water in it.
I'm actually on a tablet. It makes it a bit harder to do. I am on a tablet.
I'm
not on a
phone.
desktop.
I'm on a cell phone.
He's on a cell phone. You're not going to win that war.
Oh, okay. Well, when we get off here, just type it in and look at the surveying methods that they use for the channel.
You're going to lose that one too. I never get off.
You will find.
I'll tell you what, Jeremy. I'll find the thing for you right now.
Find a cup of water for me, please, too.
If someone's on
I'll find a cup of water because that's just asinine. But I will find the channel thing.
Excellent. If someone's on the desktop, chuck it in there because it says it all.
Just highlight the part.
What am I searching?
Listen.
Give me the search terms, real quick.
That should be the English channel tunnel surveying method.
It's called the channel, right?
Yeah, they call it the channel. You can actually type in allowance for earth curve or things like that. It does come up in a few different frames.
Well, we want the measurements. We don't just want somebody saying, "Yeah, we had to allow."
Oh yeah, and I mean that tunnel is actually, if you follow the chalk line when they did the geology of it, it's not a like bore down, go down there and straight up the other side. It is twisted and turned and dips and goes up and down to follow the chalk level. The white cliffs it over.
So the chalk level,
the chalk level.
The chalk level curves. How does that prove Earth curves?
Because of the way they surveyed it.
My goodness, that was your.
They
proof,
had to take it into account. They had to take it into account. Can you imagine digging a hole 30 miles long and ending up half a meter apart?
Oh,
so you each dig a hole 15 miles long and you end up half a meter apart through bent tunnels. They're not straight. They had to reflect.
You got to allow for the curve of the chalk line, not Earth curve.
No, they allowed for the curve of the Earth.
Yes.
It says it in there.
Well, we'll see.
It's geodetic surveying.
Like I said, I don't want them to just say it. We need the measurements, Taryn, now, don't we?
Yeah, if someone's looking it up, that's brilliant. I can't right now, and neither can you. That's fine. But if someone can, it states it there.
Is Sean G in here? This guy's running all over Discord, acting like he's calling me out, like I'm ducking him.
Probably are ducking him.
And if you actually think of it like that, yeah. But if you actually think of it too, 30 miles, there's a fair difference. Like you were talking about the pyramid. That's sort of why I was getting. The pyramid might only, I think it's about 140 meters or 150 meters a base, something like that.
Are you sure?
But yeah, something like that. But if you use a water level on that, which is what they did, as far as I know, the pyramid actually had canals dug from the Nile
around
to the pyramid, and they used to bring
that's the story.
Yeah, they floated the rocks in because they mined the rocks.
No,
they quarried the rocks miles away.
Yeah,
and
but
floated
the story
them in.
is around the base. Around the base, they dug a little trench and filled it with water so they could see it when it was flat.
Yeah, but they actually floated the rocks in. They dug like a canal up to the pyramid through the sand.
They were good. They were good. Yeah.
Oh,
they had the batteries back then. They had the Baghdad battery.
Oh, come on, Jerry. You don't do that.
I mean, they were fucking with electricity somehow.
Super intelligent. Super intelligent for that.
Question.
For that
I think we actually used to be more intelligent in previous times, and then the ice age melted, the flood happened, and we had a catastrophic.
The ice age was before humans were around, dude.
Oh, that
Are
was
you serious? It
oh,
was
that
10,000
long time
years
ago.
ago. Each the Pleistocene,
No.
the driest meltwater plus
I think
1B.
no, the ice age I think was like 40,000, 35,